right, I'm standing by. What's the deal?
There it goes. Mine's just starting to go. Okay, mine's paused.
Mine ain't come up yet. Why are you not coming up?
It took mine a minute as well.
Well,
Mary says, I see people.
this one's taking more than a minute.
Mary, do you see all of us?
Why are you not coming up here? Okay, I'm thinking that it's paused, but I'm not. It didn't show up. Okay.
Mary says she's getting the feedback.
Do you hear me, Mary? Mary, quite contrary. You hear me, Mary? Sorry for the caps. Are we getting feedback?
Not on my end. It's clear on my end.
I hear and it's echoing. Sounds good on this end.
Okay, good.
Okay, Mary Criglow said it sounds good on her end, and our Strickland's saying she's got feedback. Okay, lots of feedback, she said.
Well, he's on his phone, and it could be just him moving around.
Hello, Divergent. Yay!
Yay!
Okay.
Okay.
It's showing that I'm muted, but you know how that goes. Could be this, could be that. Anyway, I hope everybody's not feeding back. We are Ghost to Ghost PM. I'm Roger Belt, and of course my cohort over there is Miss Michelle Fitzpatrick. Say hello, Michelle.
What's up, Holly? Hey, everybody.
And we have Mr. Mike Woolley with us tonight, and I have talked with him before about 2 years ago. We did a show with Mike and Miss Baby King McMartin, who hopefully will be here soon. I will let you kind of give us a run-in, Mike, about what basically we're going to be talking to these people about tonight. I know one of them is going to be about the movie, of course.
Yeah.
If you want to let everybody know what your movie's about, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting on. I didn't know who. Debbie's gonna hopefully be on a little bit. And she's gonna kind of go over the basics about the movie with everybody, how it originated. When projected date. I spoke with her here, I don't know, a night or two ago, and I think she said Vimeo should be available about the middle of next week. About another week and a half, should have the DVDs, in and ready to ship. So, you can buy the movie, I think on Vimeo for a one-time price, and then after you see it, it's gone, or you can add a few more bucks and get the movie and be able to put it in your library and keep it, watch it whenever you want to. So
in other words, basically, you can rent it or you can buy it.
Yeah, you got your choice. However you want to do it, you can rent it, watch it one time, or you can rent it, watch it, and save it and put it in your library and watch it however many times you want for a few dollars more. Or you'll be able to buy the DVD.
Okay, we'll hopefully she'll get in here shortly. But we were talking about some interesting things here before we went live, and if you don't mind going back over some of that, these ladies that you went to visit, because this is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying that Bigfoots would come up to the back of the yard there and everything, and
Yeah. These two ladies, one's an older lady, and the other lady, she's in her mid-60s. Her husband works offshore, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And they live out in the middle of nowhere. And when I say nowhere, I mean nowhere. And these creatures my friend was telling me about it, how they would just come up and look at you, He said, they're everywhere all day, and so we went over there. He took me over there about 5 years ago and showed me around. And sure enough, that was what was happening. But there was also some other stuff, paranormal stuff going on over there which I don't know much about the paranormal, okay? But I did a lot of studying and research and talked to whoever I could talk to about. And I do have a lot of paranormal people, friends, and since I've been doing a lot of radio shows, and I've done a lot of paranormal shows. They've asked me to be on their shows, and they're great. They're great people, man. They took me under their wing, and I've told them Bigfoot stuff, and they've told me a lot of stuff. But this is where I first come into shadow people. I learned a lot about them, and it's some real scary stuff.
Now, typically, when a paranormal ghost person hears the term shadow people, and most paranormal investigators have encountered something like that. Are you familiar with what the I call them ghosties, what the ghosties refer to as a shadow person? And would you say that these are the same entities, or are they different? Well,
first off, you're going to have to break it down to me what you just said, the name you called it.
Okay. Well, the shadow people that most ghosties, I call it ghost hunters or researchers, people who research ghosts, will run into what we call a shadow being or a shadow person, and it's usually just a big black mass that you can see in a humanoid shape, usually standing way off, and you can feel it looking at you, but it never comes into into an apparitional form to where you can tell if it's human or not. So is that kind of similar to what you require your shadow being?
I've seen that. Wow. It was just enough to tell that it was a body. So as far as features in the face, you can't see that. All you can see is something's there, outline of a body. I've seen that several times. Okay. And also, Debbie has some paranormal friends here around Shreveport, pretty reputable, I understand. And she got them to go over that house, and they did a ghost hunt, I guess you call it. And they found 4 in that house. Wow. And said one of them was a little girl.
That's interesting.
A female shadow. I've never really put.
Well, no, it's not a shadow person. It's just all I was told. There was 4 ghosts, and one of them was a child.
Oh, okay.
Plus the shadow people.
Okay.
So like I said, that's all I know.
Go check that place out.
But you can, the hair stand up on the back of your neck. I mean, when you turn in there, you just get a feeling. It's kind of like a pressure, And I was out there one day in the backyard, and I've had the hair on the back of my neck pulled, and I turned around with nobody. Nobody. That's just some of the stuff that's happened.
And you were told, before we went live, you were told to stay really, really far away from these things. And can you reiterate to us what this lady told you?
Well, the paranormal is mainly my paranormal friends. Mm-hmm. I have a lady that has a radio show up in New York, and she's real good. I've been on her show, and she won't even talk to you about it. She just told me they're bad news. Stay the hell away from there. And she won't even talk to me on the phone. She says because they can feed off of your energy. If you have fear, if you talk about them, anything, she said, that gives them fear. Also, one Friday, me and my buddy used to go over there every Friday. We spent all day and part of the night. Well, I was sick that day and I couldn't go. So he went. Well, he stayed about, I don't know, it was in winter months. He stayed about 8:30, okay? And, well, he got in his truck. And he was coming back. And he's told me, he said, Mike, he said, there was something in that truck with me. And which there was nobody. It was an SUV. And he said, I got that feeling, that pressure, that tightness. Man, he said, and I just, so he said, I drove on, and he said, I got that feeling. Well, he stopped, pulled over on the side of the road about 2.5 miles from the house, opened every door, all 4 doors, and the door on the back of the SUV, and commanded it to get out. He said, I know what you are. Lord's name, I command you to get out. And I asked him, I said, well, did it get out? Did it get better? He said, yes, it did. So it's, I'm at the point now where I want to go back. I love those people to death. We've really become good friends. And I'm just at the point where I'm just, something ain't right over there, like I said, there's 4 men died over there. This lady's husband died in 91. He was clearing a place for a garden, and he was on a big tractor. And he was pulling up this little bitty pine sapling tree. And I don't know if you can see my hand, but the tree wasn't no bigger around as my finger. And it was about 3 foot tall. Okay?
Okay.
When he tightened up on it, it flipped that tractor. That tractor reared straight up, come over backwards, and killed him.
Whoa.
Investigators looked at that and said, there's no way. They said the twig he was pulling up didn't weigh no more than 5 pounds, 7 pounds. I can send you a picture of it sometime. You won't believe it. You won't believe how small it is. And this is a big tree. And I've been in the farming business. I've used tractors all my life. And it killed him. Just all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, and the name of the town is Goldonna, Goldonna. And if you look it up, they say what I've read and heard from other paranormal people, it had a bunch of salt mines, a lot of tunnels underground.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
And they feel like there's a door.
She can't get in, and she's got just some messages written down.
Anyway, they feel like there's a portal. That's what I'm trying to say, a portal.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some notes here to read y'all.
Okay.
Just handed to me.
Okay.
It's from Debbie. She says she can't get on. She says, I don't have a back air on mine. Gives me no option for audio. Looks like I am not going to be able to get on. Just write message to Mike. DVDs are available now by going to Skookum the movie website and go to Skookum store. Anyone who orders from the show tonight will receive a signed poster image, refrigerator magnet with my autograph, in addition to the DVD.
With your autograph, not Debbie's.
Not Debbie's, mine. It says the movie will be available for streaming this Saturday on Vimeo, Skookum, The Hunt for Bigfoot.
This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday, in addition to DVD being available to order now. Movie will also be available on Amazon within the next 2 weeks.
Very cool.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so everybody in chat over there, run out and rent that movie because you're going to like it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I'll send y'all a copy of it. You send me some addresses, and when I get my hands on the DVDs, I'll send y'all one, and it's on me. I get so many
perfect.
free.
We'll promote it big time. Yeah.
Well, we need it. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Roger's really been a big help, and helped us out, and I really enjoy doing shows with him.
Yeah, good guy.
We've done about 3. Actually, the first one we ever done was on Blog Talk way back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Years
Blog
ago.
Talk, yeah. It's still going strong from what I hear.
Of course, we run out of time, and we were still going because we were still talking, and you only got like you were supposed to get 30 minutes, and I know we ran over an hour, and it was still going. And I said, okay, so they let us slide a few minutes. And right in the middle when we were talking, it cut off, and I'm like, really? So then we did another one. We did a 2-hour show about 2 years ago, and the link to that is in my YouTube channel if anybody wants to check that out. In fact, that one has roughly 2,700 and some odd views on it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's still pushing up there. It still gets more views all the time.
I've got some out there that's got some 150,000, some 200,000. Just it's unreal. You know, one day I'm probably gonna hit the million mark. You know, but I enjoy it. You know, I love talking to people, and time flies. You know, and
now these guys in the chat, Mike, they're not familiar, and I don't know if they've watched the other show or not, but we're going to have to let you tell them the story about how all this came about in the first place, what happened before this movie ever got made.
Yeah.
Their first
okay.
experience.
Well, I started going in the woods hunting when I was 4 years old. My daddy was a squirrel hunter. He didn't deer hunt. He liked squirrel hunt. So he started taking me. I tagged along with him, you know, and squirrel hunt was okay, but I like deer hunting, you know. And so when I was about 13, 14, he gave me my brother's little old single barrel Winchester 20 gauge. And he said, that's it, you know, buddy, get you some slugs. So that's what I started with. And rated on up, got me a deer rifle. And my encounter happened December 1981, one afternoon. I was working at a plant, plywood plant near my house, probably a mile and a half from my house. And I was working 3 to 11 shift. And I spent every minute in the woods. It didn't have to be hunting season. Whatever hunting was going on, I hunted, squirrel, whatever. Played in the mud. I was always out there riding through the woods, you know, in the truck, in the mud, you know, crow hunting, you know, doing some kind of stuff, you know. I just love being in the woods, you know. And but anyway, I was working 3 to 11 shift, and I would, you know, go home and then get cleaned up, eat a bite, get to bed about 12, get up 4 o'clock in the morning, be on my deer stand about 5:30. And I'd hunt about 11 and come home and, you know, get cleaned up, get something to eat, and go to work at 3. Well, I did this continuously, not to mention all the vacation time I took off and the days I played hooky. I didn't go to work. I went hunting. But, you know, and so I had found this spot. A friend showed it to me. Big guy. He's about 6'10", about 400 pounds back then, and he's kind of a mentor. He showed me a lot about deer hunting, and he showed me the spot. And he said, "I don't know that much about it, but these are pretty good deer woods, and it wasn't far from my house, 8 miles to most. And I like that." And so I went. It was down a logging road. You went down the main highway, 171, and you turned on the secondary road. You went back about a mile, and there was this old logging road to the left. And it went back in the woods about a mile, and it dead ended. And at the halfway point, it had been logged about 30 years ago. You could see where they loaded the trucks because there was just a little bitty opening, just big enough to turn your truck around park. I would always turn my truck around and have it heading out, because if something happened bad, I mean, you could jump your truck and go. You ain't gonna be fighting turning around.
Right.
Well, anyway, that week, I said, you know, I'm gonna go hunting Saturday morning. I look forward to it. We've been having a real stressful week at work. Everybody's fighting, you know, and it's just one of them deals you just really hate to be at work. So Friday evening, got off at 11. And I said, you know, make sure I'm going to go home and get to bed before I get up. So I go home, get to bed, and next thing I know, it's 9:30 Saturday morning. I'm still in bed. I said, "Oh man, overslept." Well, that really PO'd me. I was mad, and all that. I really look forward to going hunting, And so anyway, I said, I got some stuff I need to do, errands and all that, and I'll just make an evening hunt. I just leave about 2 o'clock, go make evening hunt, and like that, and it's still safe part of the day. Salvage some of it. Well, I got up, got my stuff together, and I always try to keep my scent down. That's the number one thing. I wouldn't cook no breakfast and get no sausage going, none of that greasy stuff to get on me, And I wouldn't stop nowhere going. I made sure I got all my gas. Guys tell you, well, I didn't kill nothing. Well, they'll stop, get coffee, get a breakfast sandwich, go in and get all that grease and that store, get all that smell on them, and then take it to the woods. Well, a deer, 99% of the time, he picks you up a smell. And I've had guys tell me, well, I know he was there, but I just couldn't see him. I said, well, yeah, that deer probably smelled you a half a mile off and turned left. But anyway, I head out, and I get to the spot, and I had a lean-to stand. It's one that's like a ladder, and it's got a seat, plywood seat, and it's got a V cut out where you can lean it up against a tree. And I used a great big old chain, big old logging chain at the top. It served two purposes. It kept somebody from stealing it, and it kept it, from falling. Well, I get on the stand around 3 o'clock, something, 3-ish. And I'm facing north, dead north. Temperature running from 30, 35 degrees. Beautiful day. Wasn't a cloud in the sky. I mean, beautiful, sunshiny. But I noticed everything was dead quiet. I mean, you could hear a pin fall. There wasn't no bird singing, nothing. It just dead quiet. And for some reason, the air felt like it had a little electrical tingling on your skin, like a buzz. Just something ain't right. That's all I can figure out. At about 3:20, and I know it's 3:20 because when I look down, my watch is on my left hand, and I don't wrist, and I saw all the time. At about, 2:30, 3 o'clock position, this little young doe come running out of the woods. Like I said, I'm at the dead end of a logging road, and it's really tight, really growed up. You can't. It's so many briars, and we have those big old thorn trees down here with about 5-6 inch thorns, and they'll cut you to pieces. She come running through that mess, and when I first heard it, I thought maybe it was a big buck coming. But when I saw it was a little doe, I said, there's going to be a big buck chasing her. The rut was on, and I said, yeah, I'm fixing to kill me a big buck. Well, she come up and got right under my deer stand. She was on the left side of my deer stand, and she laid down, and her belly was actually touching my deer stand. And she was soaking wet. I guess there was a pond, a creek back there. I guess she run through that. But she was panting real hard, So I'm thinking, this don't make sense because deer run away from you. They don't come to you, So all of a sudden, as I start to look back up, out of my peripheral vision to the right at about 2 o'clock, I saw movement. And something was coming straight at me. Now, this was about 20 yards maybe, 15, 20 yards. I saw this big black gorilla-looking thing come shooting up pretty fast, and he got behind a tree. Tree concealment, I'm up there about 10, 11 feet, and I'm like, wow, what is that, And so and this is where it really got hairy. He's standing behind this tree, and he's hugging it really, and he's got his toes touching the bottom of the tree. He hops flat-footed, 20 feet through the air, and lands behind a bigger tree at 3 o'clock, my 3 o'clock position, kind of to my side, straight out from my shoulder. And he lands flat-footed, and his toes are touching behind that tree. It's like he had his crosshair set where he wanted to land, and he landed there. But what blew my mind, seeing something 500 pounds, 7, 8 foot tall, going through the air 4 foot off the ground, that right there, I said, whoa, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So,
how tall did you say he was, or you think he was, and how much you think he weighed to be able to jump like that?
He was between 7, 8 foot tall, around 500 pounds.
Ooh.
I've seen that pro wrestler, Andre the Giant, and they say he's about 7'3", 500, right. And he was every bit bigger, but he was in better shape. This creature was more ripped up, more muscular. He didn't have no fat on him. I mean, he had a flat stomach like a bodybuilder, and he was bowed up. But anyway, he's standing behind the tree. He's hugging it, and he's peeking at me. He's got half of his face, one eye, looking at me, and I'm thinking, whoa, now, wait a minute, what's going on here? There's nobody else in here. I mean, there's one way in, one way out, and there's nobody around me hunting, So if this person in a suit trying to scare me, he's one big sucker, And back then it was open range hunting. All this land was owned by your big Pacific Northwest lumber companies like Willamette, Weyerhaeuser, Boise Cascade, and they let you hunt on their land. And they wouldn't charge you nothing. Right. As long as you didn't do no damage to the timber, they didn't care. Mm-hmm. Well, 3 or 4 years later, they started leasing it out. That's where your hunting clubs come into effect. But anyway, he's looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I can't believe what my eyes I'm seeing. Anyway, I'm thinking there's just all kind of stuff going through my head. Questions like, is there a circus in town? No. Did a gorilla escape somewhere? No. And it was being answered. The questions were coming fast, but they were being answered fast. It was weird. Mm-hmm. But I've never been so shook up in my life. I mean, my teeth were rattling. My knees were knocking. I mean, it was a scaredness that I couldn't believe. And I've been, in a lot of predicaments in my life. But anyway, I'm sitting there trying to figure out what it is. And so, then I get mad. And I said, somebody's trying to screw with me. So I'm thinking of somebody in a suit, So I start talking to this thing, telling him, take the head off, get out of the suit, leave, get out of here, I'm going to shoot you, don't. I thought it was somebody trying to scare me off my hunting spot. Because back then, what people would do, if you got a hunting spot and they come along and found it and they really liked it, they would destroy your deer stand. They would leave you nasty letters. Don't come back here. We're going to shoot you. They'd do everything they could to get your hunting spot and get you out of there. And I thought, well, maybe somebody's trying to pull a joke on me. But then I get to thinking, and this thing is looking at me. I mean, he's actually looking at my lips, and all. And, if that's a human, how could a person jump 20 foot through the air, get 4 foot off the ground, and land behind a tree? That's just
not even your best African Olympics can't do that.
Yeah, that big. So anyway, he just finally steps out from the side of the tree. And he's kind of got his left shoulder behind the tree a little bit, left leg, He's not totally exposed, but he's a good 60% exposed. And then I can really see how big he is. And I noticed how big his shoulders were. They weren't godly. They were 4 foot across. And you know how sometimes the sunlight will shine down through a tree. It was shining down, and it was hitting his shoulder. And I remember how pretty it was. It was real black. It was real gleaming, you know. Hair about 3 inches long, something like that. But anyway, I could tell that he was a little upset. I think a lot of it was because I blew his cover. I wasn't supposed to see him, and I did. Also, he just starts getting just real froggy. I could tell he's starting to show a lot of aggression. I could see the hate in his eyes. Everybody says, "What scares you the most? The size of him?" No, that was scary, but his eyes. I mean, those
I
were
need
some
to
of the
get a
most.
pen and a paper. I'm coming up with all kinds of questions, and I need to write some down. Go ahead, keep talking, please.
His eyes were so evil. It was just ungodly. People don't realize he hated my guts. I could tell he would love to kill me, you know. And so, you know, this goes on, and yeah, it lasted 15 minutes, around 15 minutes total. But anyway, I could hear him. He's starting a low growl, you know, and the way he was looking at me, he kept showing me his teeth. He would show them to me shut. His mouth would be open, his teeth would be shut. He would show me them that way, and then he would show them to me open, and he would kind of growl, like a low growl. I mean, he did that a lot. I don't know why he showed me his teeth a lot, but he showed me his teeth a lot, and he would click them. He was making a unique sound, a clicking, you know. So he's starting to get kind of squatty on me, you know, kind of, you know, like I said, froggy. And I got to thinking, I said, this thing, something can happen, man. I'm fixing to die, you know, and all kind of things went through my head. My little boy was like 6 or 7. You know, marriage was young, and I thought about them. I seen just pictures of my life go by, and it was a cold day, and I was clammy. I was real nauseated. My stomach was rolling. And there was a buzzing. I had a buzzing just in my ears. My ears are ringing, you know. And I don't know if it's because I was afraid, but there was a point where it was like I was kind of in a, like, remember how the Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz was kind of in a tunnel-like deal, and it was turning, and it's like slow motion, you know, and you're seeing stuff, but you can't hear nothing. It's like time standing still, you know, but stuff is still moving around you. It's weird. And so I get to thinking, you know, well, he lets me know he's not afraid of that gun. He's not, you know, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of the gun. And that's what scared me. And I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to shoot this thing because I was afraid I'd make him madder. You know, I would be in some big trouble. And I kept hoping, like, why don't you go the way you come from, and I'll go the way I come from. You can have this deer stand, and I'll never come back. Well, he wouldn't do that. You know, he chose to fight. So I'm thinking, you know, this thing looks too much like a human. I mean, it looked like a human. I don't know if you've seen pictures of the sketches of it. Sibylla Kristen Irwin did it. Did you see my pictures?
Oh, not yours. No, I've seen others, but not yours. Yeah.
I don't know if Roger has them or not. If he does,
I'm going to look it up tonight. You got me really intrigued.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube. Ask Roger about my sketches.
Okay.
Sibylla did them, and she nailed it. We worked 6 months back and forth. She finally got it, and this is him to be exact. But anyway, you know, I said, you know, if I'm going to have to shoot this thing, and I'd done some reading, a book on feral humans, and I was thinking, is that a feral human? You know, just all kind of stuff in my head. So I said, no, I'm going to look at him through my scope. You know, I had a high-powered scope. I said, I just want to make sure. I want to look at his face real good if I have to shoot this thing, you know. Because I'm going to try to make a head shot right between the eyes, because any other shot, you ain't going to hurt him. He was so muscular, you know, thick. Well, I turned my scope down and I look at him, put it between his eyes, and I thought, oh my God. I mean, you can see the moisture when it's cold, like coming out of your nose, and when you breathe, and his eyes, I could see his eyelashes, all that, and his wrinkles and, moving in his face. I said, oh my God, I didn't believe in Bigfoot. I thought that was just something out in Hollywood they made movies with to make money. And back then, in '81, the internet was in its infancy, and nobody knew nothing, and nobody had no way of keeping up what's going on. There was no way to research or get any information. And I worked at a small plant, and if I went back and told them what I saw, they'd have made my life so much hell I had to quit and left.
Mm-hmm.
Leave. Go find another job. Well, I was looking at him through my scope, and man, I hadn't looked at him 20 seconds till, boy, he throwed that head back, and he let out a roar, and it was like getting hit by a 70-mile-per-hour wind on that deer stand. He like to blew me. I felt it, man, my chest. I thought I was having a heart attack, and um, it just that just like an African lion, Well, it really got bad then when I pointed out. He lost it. He wigged out. He got to growling and snorting. He had. I mean, you ever seen a bull when they get mad? How they'll have snot boiling out of their nose and their mouth. He was doing that, and he got to hitting that tree with his fist. And I don't mean like a boxer, a straight punch. He was doing it with the sides of his fist, He was hitting it with the sides of his fist, like this, like this. He was standing behind a tree and hitting it like he was making it pop. That's how mad he was, And so after he did that, after he did that, he was beating on a tree and growling and a whistle about 75 yards to the northeast of us come back. And it was kind of like a shrill whistle, a loud whistle, a long whistle, kind of like on these old sawmills, when it's time to go to break and like that. Well, he looks over there, and then he turns and looks at me and he kind of grins, and then he whistles back the same identical whistle. And I have heard that whistle. I've heard it 1,000 times in the woods, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Oh.
I thought it was a bird.
Huh.
But evidently it was them. I must have been on top of one, and he was communicating with the other one. Well, something tells me, fight or flight, and I knew I didn't have much of a chance, and just all kind of stuff was going through my head. So I jumped down off the deer stand and I headed to the west. My truck was half a mile away. And so, I'm thinking, I was more worried about meeting something when I'm running to my truck to the west. I was more worried about meeting something coming from the east to cut me off. But I wasn't thinking about, he was going to be chasing me. Well, as I take off, and I get about 40, 50 feet from my deer stand, I kind of look back over my shoulder. Well, there he come. I'm like, oh, crap,
Yeah.
I mean, that just, and, I was young back then, 26, and I was about 160 pounds, and I could move. I was in good shape. But my legs felt like they weighed 500 pounds apiece, like I couldn't move. So I'm running fast as I can down that logging road, and I look over to my left he's about 50, 60 feet from me, and he's running off to the edge of the logging road. But he is running through thick brush. And what I mean by that, briars, uh, fallen trees, those big old thorn bushes about with thorn trees, you know. He's mowing it down like it's nothing. And he's going, "Rrr, rrr," and that could tell me he's really mad, okay? And if he's willing to do all this, what's he going to do to me? You know? So I take off, keep running, and I'm coming up on my truck, and he's still right there with me, and side by side. And I'm thinking, you know, when I stop to stick my keys in the door to unlock it, that's when he's going to come up behind me and grab me, you know. So when I got to the tailgate, I just turned. I didn't put the gun to my shoulder. I just turned from the hip, and I fired a shot. I put that shot out there to try to give me 4 or 5 seconds to unlock the truck, get in the truck, and get out of there. You know. Well, the bullet, it's kind of weird. The bullet hit the back of a old dead pine tree, kind of big tree, and it hit about nose level with him. Okay, about 3 foot. His face was about 3 foot from the tree, and it actually blew dust and bark and wood back on him. That's how close it was. A few more seconds, he took a bullet in the head. So anyway, I get in the truck, and man, I punch it, you know. And I look back in my rearview mirror, and he run at my truck. He tried to catch the tailgate. I mean, he grabbed for the tailgate and missed it by a foot. You know, and people said, oh, they were just trying to escort you out of the woods, run you out of the woods. I don't think so.
I don't
think
think so either. No.
Well, also I look, and there that other one is. He's coming up the logging road. And he runs up there, and he stands there beside the other one, you know, and they're kind of looking at each other like, and they kind of look like twins, you know, about the same size, weight and all that. Me and some other friends have talked about this. I think the second one kind of waited a while before he come running up there. I think he heard the gun go off, and I think he had enough sense, hey, you know, if he's stupid enough to take a bullet, I ain't going to take one with him, you know. So I think he kind of hesitated, you know, till the coast was clear and he saw me pulling out before he come running up there. I didn't tell nobody. I wouldn't tell nobody about all this. It was just for 20 years till all these other shows started coming on. I went and asked my friend Wayne. I said, would you help me go back? Pipe, oil-filled pipe, drill stem, stand, welded together. I said, will you help me go get that stand? He said, well, why? You don't need me. He said, you can just back your truck up there near it and just walk it over in the back of the truck like that, you know, like you did before. Well, I wasn't about to tell him what happened, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, he started questioning me, you know, I'm trying to think about, you know. He says, I said, well, I just like some company. I'm kind of down now. I like some company today, you know. He said, okay, I'll go with you. Well, we go back there. That big, heavy-duty oil-filled pipe stand is wrapped around that oak tree, pretty good-sized oak tree. It's 1, 2, about 3 loops almost. There's a loop at the top, and it goes around the other side, and it comes out down on the bottom. It's wrapped around that tree. And there's no way you could have got a car. Well, you couldn't have got a four-wheeler or none of that because that wasn't invented hardly. There wasn't that much of that stuff made. They come out in the later 80s. But you couldn't have got a car in there because there was other trees by that tree.
Mm-hmm.
You'd had to been able to make a circle. And I don't even know if a car could have bent that. That's how strong it was, or a truck.
It was leaving you a message, too. Yeah.
It kind of left me, you know. And, you know, I've had people contact me telling me that they would give me so much a foot for part of that stand if I could find it. But, you know, that's the land's been bought now. It's private land. I can't get on it. Mm-hmm. I have people contacting me, want me to just take them back there and show them, you know, and I tell them, I can't get on it. I'll get arrested. Besides, for instance, my cousins that live down there, I did a show, television show a year ago. It's called Killing Bigfoot, and they wanted to interview me. and it'll be on January or February on Destination America.
Oh, okay.
They were having some problems with some Bigfoots, and their house is 4 miles from where my encounter happened. The other day, my cousin, he's retired, and he was a butcher, learned how to cut meat, do all that, and he trained his wife. She's real good. And they've got a real small little butcher place at their house. They process hogs, deer, stuff like that on the side, Well, she stepped out of on her front porch the other day to go get something out of her son's truck. Now, this is in the front yard. She said they're standing about 40 foot beside a cedar tree was one about 10 foot tall and about 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds.
Gosh.
Now, both him and her cut meat. They know. They can look at a deer. They can look at a cow. They can tell you how much it's going to dress out. They've cut so much meat in their lives, So, yeah. Now, and my buddy said, Mike, he said, man, he said, we've been down there, and he said, they're there. They're every, he said, you got a lot of big creatures down there. And my friend, he died October of 2010. He had heart surgery and developed a blood clot in his lung overnight. When he had it, he died. But he told his wife back in 81 when we went back to get that deer stand, the deal. He said, something ain't right. He said, I've never seen something like that. He said, Mike was acting weird. He was lying to me, and he said that deer stand's wrapped around that tree. And do you know, she told me about a month or two ago, she brought that up. I said, I didn't think you knew. She said, yeah, I knew. She said, he told me about it. So, it kind of made me feel better, more vindicated, But there's some big creatures down there. But I'll be on Destination America in February on killing Bigfoot. I just told it. They asked me some questions. I answered the questions, I told them, I said, I'll answer what I want to answer, but you're not going to hit me up, Like I've done a lot of shows that really were, But anyway, yeah, that was a rough time in my life. I went in depression. I've been diagnosed with that, that depression that people has from this kind of stuff.
PTSD.
It took away from me that I always enjoyed deer hunting. I can't go out at night. I can't go in the woods no more because even though I'm sitting on a deer stand, any little crack or any little pop, I'm looking.
Yeah.
And I find myself looking for these creatures more. I've seen them in the woods, how they get around. They'll take and they'll hug a tree. That's the way they conceal themselves. They'll take, if they hear something, they'll hug a tree. They'll blend into it and they'll wrap their body around it, and you can't see them. I seen one day in a cedar tree, a big cedar tree. I would be going in some mornings at 5 o'clock. I'd get on my deer stand 2 hours before daylight. I'd give her time, my smell and the noise to die down. Well, this big cedar tree I'd had to walk by, turkeys would be roosting in it, and it just gobble, 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 5 o'clock in the morning, all that noise, all those wings beating, almost give you a heart attack. So one morning I'm sitting on my deer stand. I'd moved from the encounter where it got run out about 7 miles to the southeast, put up a new deer stand, and I'm setting up on my deer stand about 100 yards from that cedar tree. It's a big cedar tree, humongous cedar tree. I'm looking at this cedar tree about 100 yards, and all of a sudden, the south end of it that I'm looking at, waiting for a deer to cross, it opens up, and a creature steps out. And I'm like, man, I just walked by there a couple hours earlier. It was like 9 o'clock. that morning. I said, he could have grabbed me, you know. And so I was ready to go home then, but I was afraid. I said, I need to wait a while. So I'm going to wait till about 12 o'clock and give him time to get out of here. And then I'm going to, leave. And that felt like it was the longest day of my life, waiting them 3 hours. But anyway, what was going on in that deal? When I got ready to leave, I walked over that cedar tree. And I don't know how I didn't notice it, but cedar is some of the hardest wood that you can find. Mm-hmm. There were some big limbs that had been broke off in the tree at the base, and they had been thrown over to the side trail. I've been walking over them forever. They've been laying there, but I didn't. It didn't mean nothing to me. Well, I took my rifle, put it on fire, and I stuck it right there where he come out of that tree. And this is what I found. He had got in there and broke him some limbs off where he could get around. And there was 2 big, humongous butt prints up against the base of that tree where he'd been sitting on the ground. On the right side was a humongous pile of turkey feathers, meticulously stacked. On the left side was a humongous pile of turkey bones, meticulously stacked. What he had been doing, he had been waiting on them turkeys that was coming in at nighttime roosting, and he would just step up on a limb or two, and they'd never see it. He'd grab him a turkey. And he'd been doing it for a long time because he had a big old pile of feathers and bones. So I tell all my friends now, watch them cedar trees because they can break them a limb or two. They can get in there. You'll never see it. You'll walk by them and
so
never
he was
know it.
inside the cedar tree, you
He
think?
was in the cedar tree.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing you were, Mary. I had a question wrote down here, and I look up, and Mary had it in the comments. I've got, when you were saying they blend in so well, one of my questions is, do you think they, because we hear a lot about shapeshifters. So do you think that they have like camouflage abilities or anything like that?
Well, I'm going to be honest with everybody, and this is just my feelings only.
Sure.
I don't believe in none of that stuff.
Okay.
I don't believe in cloning, cloak, and whatever you call it. I don't believe in none of it. They bleed just like we bleed. Okay? I've had a friend on his hunting lease. They shot one, and he got away, but they got a gut pile, and they got blood, and they sent it off to a couple of pretty big labs, and they checked it. It come back ape.
Interesting.
So I don't believe in none of that other stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I just think they're just a creature that hadn't been identified.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that hadn't been identified.
Well, there is a theory that kind of leans towards what you believe, that there's a lot of people out there that think we've been tinkered with as a human race. So there is a couple of theories out there that Sasquatch would be what we would have evolved into naturally. Mm-hmm. If this evolution from ape,
none
of us really know.
We have what are the chimpanzee? What's the deal on that? We have that blood, or they have our blood in there or something.
34 out of 36 chromosomes match.
And we can take blood transfusions from them also.
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
I heard that I saw that the other day. That was new. First time I heard that. Mm-hmm. But I just think they're animal, a creature. It's been around for a long time. It dates way back. The Indians said that they were here when they got here. Indians have been here over 400 years. And they said they were seeing them. I know you read about the Vikings, Leif Erikson. Well, Leif Erikson, they were bad to the bone. I mean, they were the biggest.
The Nordics, yeah.
and those Bigfoots whipped their asses, put them back on a boat. They were ready to get the heck out of there. And now these dogmen, I don't know. I haven't seen one. Don't know much about them. I've heard stories where you won't believe some people call me and talk to me, and I listen. And spent a lot of time, you know, and I've heard some stories that I really get mad for somebody to try to pass a story on me like that. You know, like you're trying to test my intelligence, you know, that I'm a big idiot to fall for something like that. You know, if you don't tell me something, tell me a good one.
Right.
You know, but this one person told me that these aliens from above
Mm-hmm.
come down and has captured some wolves and has done some implanted some special genes or some of their genes or some crap in them and turned them into this. So, don't know. I've heard all kinds of stories, you know, and
Yeah, I don't know squat about the dog man, and I've heard a lot of stories too, but I don't know squat about that one. I know, yeah, I have heard about the aliens testing and splicing and doing all that, working creatures.
You know, 20 years ago, I'd say that I don't believe in ghosts and I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. I'm open now. You know, hey, I listen. I don't, you know, I listen now because I'm gonna tell you something. I've talked to some pretty people that knows what's going on,
right?
And they've told me some stuff, and you won't believe what the government knows.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. But this will be a conspiracy show, I promise you. Don't even get me started. Let me ask you a couple questions. I was really listening intently to your story there. Why do you think it was a male?
Well, it's pretty easy to identify. The face. I mean, like if you look at two deer, a buck and a doe, even though the buck might have horns,
okay,
you can still look at the facial features, the way the skull is, and everything like that.
Okay.
Same way in cows.
Well, same way with humans. So yeah, I was just curious to that because you kept saying he. Why do you think? I got two questions here. Number one, why do you think it hated you? You said you felt pure evil and hate. And why do you think it did not kill you when it had the chance? Why do you think it waited?
Well, as far as hating me, I think it got mad because I don't know how long they'd been chasing that deer.
Oh, okay.
You know, that was a meal.
Okay.
And I blew it. I blew that. I think they hated having contact with me, number two. Their cover was blown. They didn't want to be seen. I one-upped them. You know, number three, I pointed that gun at them, and I tell everybody now, if you ever come in contact with one, don't look at it. He's going to do his best to keep eye focus with you. You know, you don't look him in the eyes because that right there to him is a threat, a challenge.
Yeah. Challenge. Mm-hmm.
And don't point, and surely don't point a gun at him. I mean, I did everything wrong, but I didn't know. You know, it was just a lot of things going on that day. But yeah, he was really upset, and he really, I do believe, I think that you know, the reason he didn't attack me is he knew that I would put a bullet in one of them, and they would have killed me. You know.
With that being said, I mean, with them being so hidden and reclusive, how do they know what guns are to know that that was a weapon? You think they just sense it, or?
Well, they hear guns pop, and they watch everything in the woods, the hunters and all, and they know when that gun pops, that's meat.
Great answer.
I was on my third trip there. I killed a big, humongous 7-point buck right there. That's right where that happened. This encounter where I got chased out happened on my 5th visit. Okay.
Okay.
I checked the deer. He was dead. Eyes open, dead. Gone 10 minutes to get my truck. Come back. Deer was gone. Wasn't drug off. No drag marks. Nothing.
Right.
It was picked up and toted off.
Interesting.
I was fixing to say, you know, if they're running around out there, they've seen hunters probably killed deer and stuff before. But we would know that that weapon means death, you know.
I don't know why that didn't even cross my mind when I was thinking of this question. Yeah. Interesting. Fascinating. I'm going to go to the little girl's room. So I'll be back.
So I'm still, you know, I'm picturing this 500-pound Goliath, and I'm going all the way back to you running to your truck, and he's running through this stuff like it's nothing. You know, you got dead trees down, you got all this stuff, and it's like it doesn't even slow him down. Man, that's got to be one of the strongest things on the face of the planet.
It is.
But then again, when you think about it, you know, animals do feel pain, but they're not the same as humans are. You know, they're not going to stop. Oh, I bumped my knee, you know, or whatever. You know, they're going to keep going. You know, intent in mind, that's where their head's at. And they might have got scraped and cut and scratched, but they're going to keep going anyway. And all that's going to do is piss them off and want them to get to where they're going to in the first place.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the way my mind would see it.
You know, Roger, if you think about a white-tailed deer, you know how fast they can move.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you've been in the woods before and you were trying to shoot one, and when he starts that hopping, you can forget it. It's over with. You might as well just go and kiss him goodbye. The speed. These creatures can catch a deer and break its neck. Now, you think about that. Now, that's something in its own, to be able to catch one of those deer.
Yeah.
And some of those big 1,500-pound bull elk, and break their necks, snap it.
Right.
So, I mean, that alone is a godly feat, you know. I can think, you know, fast as a deer moves, or a big elk, you know, and snap its neck, you know. I mean, you know, you're dealing with a force.
Did you ever, and I know after this encounter and everything, you did some research and you did, I think, you did do a little bit of Bigfoot hunting, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever do a night hunt?
We did. We went out and listened, and stuff like that. We really wasn't a hunt. You know, it was just going out and listening to them. You know, holler. You know, and the coyotes. You know, I've done just a very few of them. I don't like going out at night, and I deter. You know, when that comes up, I just don't. I feel too vulnerable. You know. These things can sneak up on you, and you'll never know it. I mean, they're just awful quiet. You just can't hear them. They can be on top of you before you know it. And so I kind of steer away from that. You know, I went out with some friends, or a friend. He was an older guy. And the only reason I went was kind of watch out for him, because, you know, you by yourself, you ain't got much of a chance. And I was well armed, you know, so in case something did happen. But, you know, I kind of steer away from that. You know, I kind of got some banged up issues now, health issues, and I just can't get around, you know. And one got after me, I just have to lay down and tell him, you know, I'm yours, I can't run no more.
That'd be me. I can't run. So, you know, if one ever got after me, he was, I'd be limping along and he'd be trotting up there going, yeah, come here, buddy. You know?
Yeah, they'd be having grits and gravy and everything on me for next morning.
They're talking in chat, and this is really creepy, actually, because I just stepped outside a minute, and I've moved from the big city to the woods, and I was a little jumpy out there after hearing your story. And my dogs are still out there, and I can see them real good. We do have some coyotes in the area, but they're talking in chat about how they wonder just how many hunters or people out there have been in the area of one of these and never knew it.
Oh, I mean, there's been a lot of them.
Several.
You know, and now I'm jumpy.
Because they are good at camouflaging themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they don't do anything special. They just know how to hide themselves.
Right. They must, because, you know, they're so...
Yeah, you could have somebody deer hunting
elusive. Yeah.
130 foot from them, and they'd never know it.
Now, they will get in trees, too.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, you know, and I used to hunt by myself all the time, like you're talking about. You know, I didn't use deer stands and all that stuff. I did everything on the ground. And I coon hunted on the ground. I didn't use coon dogs. I would walk like the riverbeds and all that stuff. I would walk the banks and, you know, through the woods and all that stuff. And the worst thing I ever ran up on was one night not far from where I lived at the time. There was a little wooded area that had a fence around it, you know, like, I don't know if they had cows in there or something at one time, but it wasn't real big. And there was like one big humongous tree in the back, an oak, and it was probably, I bet that thing was 5 foot around. It was just huge. And, but I went like a couple of nights before, and I had a coon in a tree up in the front part of this little fenced-in place. And I didn't get him. I'm sure I hit him, but I didn't get him. And so a couple nights later, I thought, well, I'll go back. Maybe he'll be up in one of these trees, and I'll get him, you know. So I went back, and stupid me, I had a marlin that would hold like 20 shots with one in the chamber. And I took my brother's little single shot 22 that you got to put a shell in and pull the lever back, right? You know, every time you shoot. And I walked up in this opening in the front there off the road, and I'm looking up in that tree, and I'm not seeing him right, you know, and of course it's dark. And where this big tree was in the back, I saw a little set of eyes pop open. I'm like, oh, he's on the ground right there, right? So I aim at him and I shoot, and when I did, 4 or 5 other sets of eyes popped open, and they were all like bigger. And no sound. They were looking at me. And I'm like, well, whatever the heck this is, it's not a coon, right?
Yeah.
And at first I thought coyotes, but why are they howling, you know? So I started loading this single shot one at a time while I'm backing out of this thing. Because we didn't want to deal with whatever it was that was back there. It was a pack of something. And I went home, I got out, made it out of there, and I went home and I told my neighbor about it. Well, his daddy had a 7mm.
Powerful new survivor. CBS
Well, he got that, and we went back over there. And we walked along the outside of the fence, all the way to the back behind it. There's like a little sandy, and there's a cat trap in the sand right there. And I ain't kidding you, big as my hand. And so we're thinking, like, could I run up on a pack of cats, you know? And so we're coming back up the fence, and he's standing on this side of me, and I'm next to the fence, right? We're walking along, and I've got this little 22, and he's got this 7mm rifle. And as I'm walking, like you were saying, I saw something out of my peripheral vision on the other side of that fence that was stalking us as we was coming up the fence. And at one point where the moonlight hit, I got a good enough view to see it. It was a freaking panther.
Yep.
And I said, he's right there. And about that time he turned and that 7mm went right in my ear. And
Did you say a panther?
A black panther, yes, it was. And we knew there were panthers in that area. I had already heard about it, right? And I'd even heard one scream one night. It actually sounds like a woman screaming.
Yep. Yep.
And I'd heard one scream one night back over that way, but never thought nothing about it. And anyway, he turned, like I said, that 7mm barrel went right in my ear. And
Goodness.
luckily, he didn't pull the trigger, or I wouldn't be here. But anyway, yeah, we made tracks to the house so I could change my drawers.
I just looked something up real quick because this is what I thought. So just to clarify for anybody listening on YouTube or in chat, my perception was that monkeys, apes, however you want to call them, were mostly fruit eaters. And, you know, they have these giant canines, you know, but we have canines too as humans. And it says, our closest relatives, well, shoot, it just closed. Our closest relatives among the apes are the chimpanzees because, you know, atomically, behaviorally, genetically, and evolutionary, who frequently kill and eat other mammals, including other primates. So, yes, they do eat. They are not omnivores. I mean, herbivores, as a lot of people do believe. They are definitely omnivore.
Right.
They are predatorial.
That's fascinating. I'm definitely going to your channel and looking up some of your stuff. This has been one of the most intense stories I've had the pleasure to listen to. I was like glued. I didn't even look in chat. I was like, whoa.
I told you that you was going to like this interview. Mike is a very intelligent man. And the stuff that he talks about will blow you away.
Oh.
You know, and you take an average person and put them in that same position, they might not have come out of the woods that day.
Good point.
You know, somebody that is not used to being in the woods a lot and not knowing how to think on your feet, you know.
A lot of people just freeze up. Well, in that case, like a bear, they say to lay down.
Especially today, they be looking for their safe spot. So, just saying. But,
fascinating.
But
well, I'm working on a book. A lot of people has asked me, and I didn't want to write it, but because, you know, if I'm totally honest, and what I've seen in those woods, I hadn't said nothing over 50-something years. It blow your mind. You know, it's like, did I see this? You know, and so you know, I'm going to have to put that in there. And I talked with my publisher about. A lot of people's going to say, this guy's making this crap up. This didn't happen to him because it's unbelievable. I mean, like,
not these days. Not these days.
Unless you were there, you know, and could see and witnessed what I witnessed. You won't believe it, you know, and that's why I was really hesitant. She just stayed on me and on me about it, you know, and a lot of people asked me, you know, and so I'm, you know, starting that, and but it's just I tell everybody we're not alone, okay?
I know. Yeah, I hear you. Fascinating. Let me see if anybody in chat has anything. Anybody in chat want to ask a question?
The Honey Island monster or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Let me find it.
Now, if you remember, during World War II, at the time, I say it was during World War II. I may be wrong on that. Correct on that. But there was a German, not a German, but a Russian scientist, I think, who was trying to create an army of gorillas that could be controlled by humans. That they could actually manipulate to make them like soldiers. Well, you think about it automatically, they're going to be several times stronger than your average man. And if you take that on top of being able to teach them how to use weapons and stuff like that, they're going to be almost freaking invincible. You know what I'm saying? One got a hold of you, you ain't going to have to worry about making it out alive. They ain't going to leave much. I mean, something like this would rip you apart.
Yeah.
Roger, you know, if you listen to all the encounters where people were killed, every time it seems like they're always mutilated. I mean, the head's gone, arms are pulled off, legs are pulled off. It seems like they go for the arms and legs, head, and all that. They know get the head first. That you're done, you're over. So fight's over. So these things are smarter than what you think. And God, people feeding these things. Lord have mercy. That's one of the dumbest things you can do. I'm not coming down on nobody, but they're very temperamental. They're very high strung. You get to feeding these things, and they want a lot of food, and you get sick, have to go in the hospital, and nobody's there to feed them, or you leave and go away on vacation for a week or two, but when you come back, your house is not be on the ground.
Or destroyed inside.
I mean, people know better than to feed bears for that same exact reason. Why would they?
It happens. It happens.
Wow.
And I got to tell you a funny story. And my brother was telling me about this. He said I think it was on YouTube. He said he was watching a video about Bigfoot, and he said that this woman said that Bigfoot came to her house and he was wanting some garlic. Said Bigfoot come up to the door and everything, and told this woman he wanted some garlic, and she said, "Well, all I have is powdered garlic. Will that do?" And he said, Bigfoot said, "Oh."
Hey, did y'all see the one? This lady, and she really wasn't a too bad looking lady. Said it was a while back. She was in love with this Bigfoot. Remember that, and wanted to marry him. And
yeah, I remember.
And he come in the house, and she cooked him breakfast or something, and said he was great in bed and all that, and she was addicted to it. Yeah, shoot, come on now. Come on.
Well, now, at the risk of getting a little dirty here, so everybody my French when I say this. I would think Bigfoot would be hung like a freaking elephant, okay? So now I don't think this woman, number one, is going to be doing anything with Bigfoot. And if she did, she could use telephone poles when he wasn't around.
Oh, Roger. Well, I mean, let's take the story of the Nephilim. The Nephilim were said to be 9 feet tall and mated with the daughters of man. Same thing there. And that's in our Bible.
Yeah, animals, man. That's fact. It's in the Bible.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, but they're bad boys. I know that.
This has been fascinating. Very fascinating. Let me get the name of that book again. Go ahead, you guys. I'm gonna look it up.
Why don't you send me a friend request on Facebook?
Will. Definitely.
And I can send you some stuff and kind of keep you updated on what's going on.
Yeah, it's called Skookum. The Hunt for Bigfoot and Personal Experience. Nice, Skookum. Okay.
I got a shirt coming out in another week, and my own shirt, and get y'all one.
Very cool.
I'm gonna let y'all know. I have a copy of the first the first one that came out. Okay, before the updates and all the stuff got changed. Mike had sent me a copy of it, and it's a damn good movie. That's all I'm going to tell you. I have to wait for the rest to see what's what.
Well, Roger, I tell you what. Since then, the audio has been perfected. The timing's been perfected. We've added a lot more Bigfoot shots, more add-on shots. Picture has been cleared up. Been some more stuff, and it's improved 150%. You won't believe it when you see it now. It's a totally different deal than what you saw. It's really had some major changes, and I think everybody's going to like it a lot better.
Well, if like I said, I watched that one and it was good. So if it's improved that much, then it's going to be 3 times as good. But it
is.
You need to run out there and you need to check that out. Rent it, and I guarantee you'll want to buy it. So just go check it out.
I'll send y'all one. I'll send you a DVD. You can rent it early if you want to watch it, but I'll send you a DVD. And
I definitely do. Yeah, I'm anxious. This has been my first real interview with anyone that's encountered this being. So this has been really excited. I think I'm hooked. So I'll definitely be doing some more research. My area is different, a lot different than
you live in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
Stay away from land between the lakes, and I have heard some horror stories there.
Yeah, there's a lot of gatherings. Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Them boys will get you over there. They don't play around.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go there. No. Ooh. Now I'm all creeped out. I'm going to have to sleep with the light on.
Get your husband right by you, and y'all have a couple pump shotguns and some deer rifles and all that loaded.
No, thank you. Stay away from him myself. All right, I got to go, guys. It's been a pleasure. Very nice to meet you, Mike. I really enjoyed this, and like I said, I'm hooked, so I really appreciate your time. I have to go, unfortunately. I want to stay and talk more, but I can't. I got to get these dogs in and do what I got to do. So it's been an honor. Thank you so much. Roger, I'll talk to you here in just a little while, okay? Thank you, everybody in chat, but I got to go. I'll see you for everything, Mike. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Good meeting you, and send me a friend request, and I'll send you some goodies.
All right, sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Michelle and I hooked up and started doing this show, and actually, I wish she could have been around when we done that first interview a few years ago.
You're by yourself, man.
Yeah, and well, we did this because we could kind of conjoin a lot of different areas, because she's into the MUFON stuff, and plus she's into the paranormal stuff, and I do the paranormal stuff, and I'm into the Bigfoot stuff and paranormal stuff and the UFO stuff, and I'm into a lot of stuff. So we decided to see what we could do with it. And I appreciate you hollering at me and wanting to come on, because I've been wanting to talk to you again, and I figured, well, this would be the good show to do it on right here, because she can get a little taste of, what Bigfoot's all about.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. I always love doing your show, and y'all good people, and I love work people like y'all, and down to earth.
I'm telling you, brother, I want to see that hospital. I really do. When you told me about that first time, I'm like, dang, I want to go down there and check that out.
Oh, man, we got, I'll have to send you some pictures of some of this stuff around here.
I think you sent me a picture of that hospital the last time, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if I still have it or not because I've had computer crashes and lost a bunch of stuff.
Well, you're big into Civil War stuff, ain't you?
Yeah, I love it.
A friend of mine, his friend that lives not far from where Old Farm was, this guy has one of the largest collections of Civil War stuff down below Shreveport, where the Battle of Mansfield and all that was fought, Red River. He has, it's ungodly the amount of stuff he has. He's an older guy, health bad, but yesterday he was out digging in his on his land, dug down and dug up this sword. You got to see it. It dates back to 1841, I think he said it was. He called it a short sword.
Wow.
And the thing's in good shape. And, I mean, he's got tons of the Civil War stuff. You know,
my brother collects that stuff, and he's into it really big time.
It's expensive.
He's got uniforms, the caps, a musket, and the whole 9 yards. You know, and he loves that stuff. And I've always, in fact, if you see my profile picture, that was taken at Parker's Crossroads at the battlefield up there. Me and my partner stopped up there, and I actually captured on my video camera as I was making the loop around that thing. When you come up to where the picket fence is on the far end, there's a Yankee burial ground right there. Supposedly they moved all the bodies to a cemetery, but they found another one back in '94 that they missed. As I was coming up on this thing, and I was coming head on towards it like this, I captured 2 musket shots on my video camera.
Wow.
And I mean, you can hear, if you're familiar with a musket, you know how it sounds when you shoot one.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll hear the hammer when it hits the cap, and it'll go.
Yeah.
And it sounds exactly like that. And I have 2
like
of them.
Like old black powder.
Yeah, they're about 2 seconds apart. And I had somebody try to tell me that because there's an interstate right on the other side of that. Well, it was something from the highway. I said, no, nothing from the highway is going to sound like a musket going off. I know what I heard.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually have, if you go on my YouTube channel, I actually have a video where you can listen to it and you can hear them yourself. And you'll know what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
that stuff. And I can't walk that good anymore. So if I do that, I have to keep stopping and resting, and then I can walk some more, and I stop and rest. But I did make it around that one loop. It was about a mile, probably, all the way around it. And I captured those. And we went into the little burial area there, of course, and we did some EVP work in there, which I didn't get anything on that, but I did capture the gunshots. So. And now the story is, if you're not familiar, when they was fighting there, the Union soldiers were out in the open. So the Confederates were just cutting them down. So they got behind that picket fence hoping for, some cover. And of course the Confederates had a cannon up on the hill on the other side, and they were bombarding this fence with the cannon and the musket fire, and it was splintering that. So if they weren't getting hit with bullets, they were getting hit with splinters of wood off the fence. So it was a really bad ordeal. And of course, Forrest came through right in between them, and they surrendered. But the ones that were back in the woods didn't surrender because they didn't know that the other guys did. So the battle kept going, and that's how it all kind of worked out. But it was really interesting to catch those gunshots. And I'm like, I didn't realize it until I got home, and I put the little DVD disc in my computer, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I'm watching the video, and I heard it, and I'm like, holy crap! I didn't know I caught those because you didn't hear them out loud.
Right.
You only heard it on the audio from the camcorder.
I tell you, that Civil War was very entertaining. some of the stuff I've read about and seen, and I mean, we South. I think they kind of thought they could, put a whooping on us pretty easy, but they had to bring their lunch, and barely got it done.
Right.
Big lunch, but yeah, I'll tell you that was sad. Our brothers against brothers, and
Well, you had father against son, brother against brother. I mean, it was a really nasty ordeal.
yes, it was. Sure was. Like I said, I've got the Civil War graveyard right across the street from me, and they went over there, and I've listened to some recordings, and I'll have to send them to you when I can find them. And they've asked, I forgot this one guy, how did you die or something? And he said, my friend or somebody killed me. You can hear it.
Yeah.
So, they've got lieutenants, colonels, you know, I mean, like I said, the hospital and the morgue was just half a mile down the road, and if they died, guess what? They shipped them right up here, And I got friends that wanting to run some metal detectors through my yard, but I said, yeah, y'all tell me all that, and it looked like they're going to have been martyred to death after y'all leave,
Right.
But anyway, we've had gardens here, you dig in with a plow and tractor and dug up all kind of stuff, chains and axes and hammers. Some of the stuff is weird, it ain't nothing like what we have today. And
Right.
you see it, especially the chain, but they had their own way of way they did things, and but at least we got old Trump in there. Thank God for that. Whew.
Yeah. I was so relieved whenever they said he won, because I really, I mean, I was for him all the way, but I didn't really think he was going to make it.
I didn't either. I kind of looked at Hillary would probably. I felt like it'd be a close race, but Hillary would probably win by 10%, something like that. But I'm gonna tell you something, old white people. We got out there and did a job. I mean, we come out of every nook, cranny, every hole, every backwoods, rural. We got out there and voted.
Yeah.
That's something you ain't never hardly seen before. I'm 61 years old,
Well,
and
half the time don't vote. I think more of them got out and voted this time around than they have in probably years.
that's what won it. Give the man a chance.
But
Everybody's talking about him. Well, look what we've had.
yeah, people are sick of it.
Crap. Give him a chance. Obama has set us back race relations way back to the 60s. I remember, when I was a kid growing up, in Memphis and everywhere else, all the bombings and fighting and shootings. And, George Wallace, man, he didn't take no shit, off of him,
That's why he didn't.
He didn't live long,
No, they took him out because they knew what was going to happen if he got elected.
Yeah. And those Kennedys, that's what pisses me off. Everybody thought the Kennedys, they're the ones too that started this shit, getting the integration going, and all this other stuff for them. They started the crap, but you know what? They were very rich people. Their kids didn't have to worry about. They eat out of gold plates. Private schools, private colleges, they didn't have to deal with this shit.
Right.
And poor suckers like us, everybody else, we had to. So Uh, you know, you know, if you know, it shouldn't be. You know, if you want me to take some medicine, but yet you won't take it. You know, that's not right. But
Well, that's just like Obamacare. You know, he forced that on everybody, made it a law that you had to have it. You know, or you get penalized, but yet he don't have it. None of his cabinet has it, and I don't think none of the Congress people have it either.
well, look at his old mother-in-law. We took her on when he became president. Michelle brought her mother, and now we've had to feed her. She's flew around on Air Force One on a big helicopter, eat every meal there free of charge. I hear she's gonna get some kind of pension now also. So you know what? I mean, come on, man, damn, you know.
Yeah, it's really bad, and I think he made the comment that if Trump got elected, he was going to reverse everything that he's done, and he's really worried about that. You know, and I hope he does go in there and reverse everything he did.
It needs to be. It needs to be.
Something's got to change, and I'm not talking about, you know, and that's when they elected him. He was telling them, yeah, you know, we need change, and I'm gonna bring change. He did. He brought some change.
Yeah, he put us down the drain.
You know, and I think that's one of the things that brought out all the voters and everything. And that's why Trump got elected, was because people want some real change for the better. They don't want none of this crap.
I know the last few years nobody's got a Social Security raise every January. Now
No,
this year we're gonna get a 1/4%, big damn deal, and he says, well, the cost of living ain't too high. I want that son of a bitch to go to the grocery store and buy some groceries and see what that shit costs.
exactly. I know for 2 years running we haven't got anything.
Them daggum groceries are high, man. You know, and then when the fuel was high, the damn truckers put a surcharge on. Okay, now the fuel is low. They ain't gonna take that damn surcharge back. That's airwheel for you. You know, I mean, yeah, it's dirty business, man. I mean, it's some dirty business.
It all is. I mean, if you think about it, though, I mean, your grocery stores and all the people that supply the stuff to the grocery stores, uh, it's all about raking in. You know, we will make the money. We will make the money. You know,
Yep,
to hell with the poor man, the middle class. They're gonna starve to death because they can't
yep,
buy the crap. You know,
yeah, yeah.
but as long as
That's
they
it.
got enough people like the Rockefellers out there to buy it, they don't care.
That's right. No, it ain't. I mean, it's unreal, man. It's sick.
Now, see, if there was some way that the people could do the same thing that they did basically to drive the fuel prices down,
Mm-hmm.
if they could do that with the grocery stores and all that, I think you'd see a lot lower prices on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, as far as meat, milk, and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. Um, Hell, you go in there now and buy a stick of hamburger meat, a little pound stick of hamburger meat's about $5, $6. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, look at these restaurants. I mean, they done jacked their prices up. I remember fast food was fast food. I mean, you go in, you get two pieces of chicken, piece of fries, a little drink, eat it, you out of there. You know, what, 250? Hell, now that's $8.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, if you go in there with a family to eat now at McDonald's, now I remember back when my kids were little, you could go through there and you could get Happy Meals for the kids, and you could get, you know, a decent, like a Big Mac or something, and drinks and everything, and come out there spending, you know, less than $10.
Yeah,
Now you go in there and you get all that, you're gonna spend 25 bucks.
or more.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it's rape. It's highway rape. That's all it is. Well, Roger, look, I'm gonna call it a night, buddy, and you let me know how you do with your health and everything going along there. Oh, and what's been going on, and anytime you want me to do another show, let me know. I'll be more than happy.
Well, maybe next time we can do a pre-run and make sure we get Debbie in here and we can get everything set up right. We'll do this again.
Okay. Okay.
But I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it greatly.
All you people in chat, I appreciate you guys, and Mike appreciates you, and make sure you promote the Skookum movie. Go out, give it a test run. Let everybody know what you think.
I appreciate all the help we can get. God bless everybody.
You guys have a good night, and not positive whether we're going to do the Wednesday show or not yet. We'll see how it goes from here, but we already kind of had this thing set up, and so I wanted to make sure we got this one done. But anyway, most everybody knows what's been going on with me. I've got other issues besides the health thing going on right now, but it'll all be all right. But we will see you guys when we see you, and like I said, go check out that movie. Let us know what you think. Brother, I will see you later. Have a good night. Get you some rest. You look like you're about tuckered out there.
Yeah, I've been feeling kind of rough lately.
I hear you. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks.
All right. Roger, you take care of yourself. We'll catch you later.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.